Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 377.
Wow, it's a kinder, gentler Chris.
I'm tired. This is Chris, and joining me today are...
This is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
And Jake! Jake
Jake
is
is
going to make up for
less
my
cool.
lack of verve.
Verve.
And this
But
week...
what about your vigor? What about your vim?
Oh, I lost those years ago.
In Vietnam.
This week, we are looking at Into the Forest I Go.
Let's be real.
I go.
This week we're looking at Klingon titties.
Tiggle bitties.
Tiggle bitties.
Klig old bit.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes Ames just really fucking knocks it out of the park with this shit.
You have to be methodical with it. That's the trick.
It's a precision strike joke. So, in Into the Forest I Go, we pick up where we left off. The Klingons are here to fuck up Parvo. Parvo?
Pavo.
Pavo. Right, no, Parvo's in Utah. Pavo.
Well,
and-
Parvo is also...
Provo is in you.
Parvo is a
Disease?
thing that dogs get. Distemper
Right,
parvo
right.
vaccine is
There
a
we
thing
go.
they get when they're very young.
So, anywho, they're there to protect the wispy people.
They're there.
Or rather, they want to stay and protect the wispy people, but Vulcan Admiral's like, fucking whatever, we don't care. Get back here.
Yeah, they didn't actually help us, so fuck them.
Yeah, and Lorca pulls, the old trick of like, oh, some of our systems aren't working, so we're warping instead of jumping.
Oops.
Then they work out, hey, if we can get some sensors onto a cloaked Klingon ship and jump around it 100,000 times, we can probably break their science. So they send Burnham and Tyler onto the Klingon ship. They do the jumpity jumps. They rescue Cornwell and get their hands on Laurel. Burnham has a
Laurel
knife.
gets her hands on them, really.
Yeah.
On Tyler.
Has a knife
Loves
fight
it.
with Cole of House
House
Core.
Core.
I keep
Cole
doing that.
Core.
Yep. She gets beamed away. They kerplode the ship of the dead. They're going to do one last jump because Stamets is like, my brain is fried. I need to stop doing this. Lorca pushes some buttons.
And I would keep doing it, but my husband knows now, so I'm already in the doghouse.
Lorca pushes some buttons on his armchair that no one notices. They do a jump and they wound up somewhere mysterious.
Bum, bum, bum. No one saw that coming when we said this will be my last jump, I promise. I'm 1 week away from retirement.
Nobody
Yeah.
saw that coming when
something-
Stamets was like, wow, we could go somewhere unknown because of space-time. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, something bad happened. He started screaming.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
And this is the mid-season finale, which honestly, better place for a
Much.
mid-season finale than last week.
Much better. When you were saying that, I was watching this like, they were really going to make the previous one the mid-season break? Because
Yeah.
This is a way better cliffhanger.
this is your cliffhanger, shitheads.
Will Stamets live or die? Will his relationship with Colbert make it after all the bullshit?
Will Tilly keep her fucking mouth shut?
She
Never.
will not.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah,
God, the look that he gives her. And she's like, mouth sorry. He looks so pissed.
Listen, this bitch should have blabbed fucking weeks ago is the fucking problem.
I don't know.
I was gonna say, I'm kind
It's
of-
hard. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm kind of liking the level of Tilly we've been getting in the past few weeks. It's
Restrained?
Which is very little.
Which is very little, but it's just enough that like she's still there and she does shit like this, where it's like, okay, yeah, I still get that the character's there.
She's doing her job.
Yeah.
But isn't she about to get good? Or
When do you think she gets good?
well, I like her anyway, but
We're getting dangerously close to spoiler territory, so let's not.
right? That's this season though. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget what Tilly spoilers there are.
Oh well, don't worry,
we'll get to
it's
it.
coming.
We'll get to it.
But yeah, I was not Anthony. Yeah, Anthony Rapp. Anthony Rapp has this sort of people talk about resting bitch face, resting this face. Anthony Rapp has resting sorrow face.
He really
he always just looks so sad, and he's really good at this, just looking really, really bleakly bummed out.
Forlorn.
Yeah, that's the word. They work with that well. They're like, we are going to make this man so frequently forlorn because he can make that face like a fucking champ.
Sometimes they make him five-lorn.
Ah.
Yeah, so they decide to send Burnham, and Tyler.
After Burnham, like, begs and begs
Yeah, I
and
was gonna say.
blackmails and...
Like,
Yeah, they didn't decide to send Tyler
Fair.
or Burnham so much.
You know I'm the most important character on the show, right?
I mean, honestly, though, this is a put your foot down. Especially for, like, okay, Burnham, one thing. All right, she's got a bone to pick. But Tyler,
He's the head of security.
he's a fucking PTSD.
They didn't know that
victim.
yet. He was hiding it real
No.
well.
They should have known.
It doesn't even
though.
matter. If you have been held prisoner and tortured by people,
Yeah.
you should not be put in a situation where you have to then go confront them.
He shouldn't be active duty right now. Is out of the question.
And even
That
if he
is
is, he
true.
should be on ship duty. Like, he shouldn't have to go on an away mission to a Klingon ship.
Yeah, I mean, he probably would have been okay if he didn't specifically see Laurel.
Yeah, like, actually, I enjoyed there were a couple moments of him being like, yeah, I was on a prisoner.
Yeah.
I was a prisoner on a Klingon ship for however many days. I kind of know how these things work, and then he breaks a panel and gets in. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is actually very useful. We're using Tyler's experiences to our advantage and stuff.
Until the panel that breaks is his own. That's no good.
His brain panel.
Yeah,
whole
just
thing.
just a bad call there. And I think
Well, I mean, that was part of the reason. Wasn't actually, did Cornwall call him on that when she fired him on the honor system a few weeks ago?
She did. She's like, why do you have this guy in your employ?
Who should be on fucking bed rest?
Yeah, this dude needs serious mental health counseling.
Well,
But
who else are you going to send? Because we don't know any of the other crew.
send Jones. Mike Jones.
Reese
The
appears,
other security, because there's one security guy on this
Reese does like tactical stuff, and in the past, tactical and security are all the same thing. So
Who's Reese
ship.
even?
He's one of
The
the
Asian
dudes.
chap.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
He
it's-
hasn't been in the episodes
it's
in a
true.
while.
I was gonna say, is there an Asian guy?
I
in
mean,
this
it's
show?
true. Like
He's through all 5 seasons. Yeah,
it's not like they have a very deep bench.
but that thing, like in reality, that's what it comes. It's reality versus this. It's like there are, of course, other people. We just haven't met them because it's a TV show. Like there are probably better options.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason, it's always Worf that goes.
Yeah, I
as
mean,
well.
the oldest sort of joke in the book about any Star Trek series is, hey, let's send down a bunch of the department heads and the captain on an away mission. And you're just like, huh?
Yeah, that's why the ultimate computer is quite great when the M5 or M4?
M5.
M5 is telling Kirk, like, no, you shouldn't send yourself and your most important officers on this thing. We're going to send people who are actually appropriate to the mission.
Yeah, so I mean, that,
Kirk cries.
it's silly, but it's also hardly new to Star Trek.
No.
The new angle is he has huge PTSD.
I see the reason that when he's the head of security, he has experience on Klingon ships, and they are not treating him like he has PTSD at all.
Well, because he's pretending that he's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And
He's
also-
like,
I'm
no,
good.
Lorca doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, Lorca is like ready to pretty much sacrifice anybody that needs sacrificing to complete his mission.
Except Michael,
Well, right.
for reasons we
For
don't
why?
understand yet.
So has he been having these BDSM dreams all along?
That's what he says.
That's what it sounds like.
Nah.
BDSM dreams. I just want to remind you
BDSM.
that BDSM requires consent.
Yeah, well, not Klingon BDSM.
Well, it's one more reason that the Klingons don't understand how things need to be.
Yeah, exactly. They're
I mean, what we call BDSM, Klingons call vanilla sex. So.
That's true.
Klingon missionary involves whips and and a
In-
mace.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Because this had me distracted the first amount of the episode, in that, oh no, we've got to stay here to protect the Pavans. Oh, the Klingons are going to attack the Pavans. We're jumping to the conclusion that they're going to come here and destroy a planet just because they were following a beacon.
I don't know.
Why did we assume this?
I don't know. It feels right.
It just seems it's also kind of rings hollow because at the end they're like, okay, there's a whole fleet of Klingon ships coming. Let's get the fuck out of here. And no one was like, what about
Oh, you're
the
right.
Pavans?
Shit, we forgot about the
No,
Pavans.
we just fucked off.
Yeah, and then
Well, I think
fucking...
they said the fleet was headed for Federation space. I don't know if they said it was headed for...
No, I thought it was headed there. I thought that's
Was it?
why.
yeah,
they
to
had
where they were going to engage. But maybe they're hoping that when they get there, they'll just
They'll
turn
be
around
like-
and leave because they're not there.
No, what they're going to do is find the wreckage of the sarcophagus ship, and they're going to find the Pavans, and they're going to be like, what happened,
Yeah,
guys?
honestly,
Oh,
last
no.
week's episode super didn't matter. It was deeply mid, as we said,
Deeply.
and barely factored into this one, even though, like you said, the whole point of the cliffhanger was like, we're gonna protect them. And it's like...
and the Pavans called him in the first place, and that doesn't come up at all
Nope.
this episode. Fucking Cole eventually says, we'll get there and wipe out the planet. I'm like, why would you do that? Oh, because it's necessary for the plot.
Well,
and
because
it
they
feels
think
untrue to me.
it's a weapon on the planet.
Yeah.
Well, or because they, by showing themselves as an ally to the Federation, they are the enemy of the Klingon Empire.
I don't think they know what the Pavans are doing, though. I think they would go down there and destroy that beacon, and that would be it. And the
Well,
Pavans
I think
would be
that
like,
would
we'll
take
build another one.
a lot of time and a lot of manpower, and to make sure that they
just
never
nuke it
build
from
that
orbit.
beacon ever again, they'll just blow them up.
Yeah, and like Cole doesn't seem big on nuance, so I'm
No.
guessing he would just blow it up.
Cole, I realized, is like, there's a lot of Duras in Cole and a, like, charmless version of Gowron. Because, like, when he's sitting there playing with Giorgio's badge, like, he had anything to do with obtaining it, and it's like, okay, stolen valor. Like, everything about this guy is just waiting in the wings for other people to do work. Because remember how Gowron was rewriting Klingon history books as soon as he was Chancellor to, like, big up his involvement in things. Like, this guy's the same thing, but he's not fun.
He's
like,
generic.
Yeah.
I
Like-
find him very generic.
Well, that's why it's good that they got rid of him. Like, I think the point of having him get blowed up without ever having really done very much is just letting us know that, no, this guy isn't the big bad.
Oh, it's to redeem Michael entirely.
Well, it's also to redeem Michael, but
like,
it's also
she
like...
went over to Klingon ship and did the right thing
Yeah,
for a
but
change.
we're only halfway through the season, and the leader of the Klingons is evidently dead. So, it kind of leaves you with the assumption that, okay, yeah, this guy wasn't actually
yeah.
the big bad this
Yeah.
season.
But I also think it plays into, again, just the idea that, like, he is a nobody. He thinks he's hot shit, and he just so isn't. And so he's, he gets what he deserves as a character, like, and that sadly rarely happens in real life. Terrible people do very well and get exactly what they want, so it's nice to see one get kerploded, even if it's only in fiction.
Pretty shit, though. That's a shame.
Yeah, it was. Klingons lose all sense of aesthetics after this.
Yeah,
It's the one good thing about this era, they went really apeshit on artistic-looking ships.
And stupid-looking Klingons.
And when they're combing through the wreckage, they're gonna be like, man, this ship had a large complement. There's so many bodies.
It is huge. Yeah. Like, the amount of work the poor set people had to do.
Oh, yeah. Like, I told you it cost, like, millions to build that ship.
But there's, like, this one shot where they show the sensor thing Michael puts down on the bridge from the top down. You get this really brief look at this really elaborate tile that, like, I'm like, wow, that's really nice. Some poor bastard had to put so much work into this tile. This is the only time we see it in the whole thing.
Yeah, and blink and you miss it, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I know when Jake and I were watching, like, various Games of Throne and things like that, and whatever the new one was, No. I
Rings
think
of
there was
Power?
some Rings of Power, but the
Dragon
other...
House.
Yeah, House of Dragon. They have like, all these behind-the-scenes extras afterwards that just show, like... And this is the 6 months and, like, 6,000 hours of manual labor it took to build, like, this one corset piece.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that's impressive. When did we see that?
Wow.
For 3 seconds in the background. in
Yeah,
the
well, it's
first,
because when you
first
have
scene.
a shitload of money,
That you don't know what to do
like you
with.
have a limitless budget, essentially. You can just blow it on whatever you want.
Well, sometimes, actually, this is not as topical, but at time of recording, we're still kind of close to the holiday. The amount of detail, like historically accurate detail in the costumes on the Muppets in Muppet Christmas Carol is apparently insane.
That's
There is a
interesting.
shirt Rizzo wears for one scene that has stupid amounts of detail in it that would have taken so much effort. And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, plus it's like 6 inches tall.
Yeah, it's astounding.
Yeah, I think that's I think like you end up getting spectacle. At least in the case of Discovery, perhaps you end up getting spectacle
Because they're treating it like a movie.
because they're treating it like a movie, and they're treating like I think Discovery is a lot like the Chronicles of Riddick.
Okay, I'm interested in this.
In that, like, because we had Pitch Black, which is the first Riddick movie, which was a shoestring budget, really fulfilling plot, scary, tense.
Yeah, visuals were excellent.
Claudia Black, it was just phenomenal.
Love her.
And then we have the Chronicles of Riddick, which had an enormous budget,
Suddenly it has all this world building
all
out
this
of
world
fucking
building, like
nowhere.
these massive set pieces. It's just
Carl Urban being hot.
Carl Urban. It's just And I'm not saying that Chronicles of Riddick is bad.
It's a very different movie.
But if I had the choice to watch a Riddick movie,
which we might at some point.
I'm watching Pitch Black over Chronicles of Riddick because it's just a better movie. And I think that they spent a lot of money and a lot of time and energy and creativity on Chronicles, but I just don't know that it was put in the right place. I think that they could have spent more effort and less money, or maybe the same amount of money if they just paid a bunch of more writers and people. Maybe have a slightly lower production value, but we could have made a better movie.
Had a much better craft service.
And I think that's I think that's another thing with this. I think that's the Discovery. It's like, okay, we look at some of the older Treks.
Like Gem, like the Empath with Gem.
Yeah, right.
Gem,
No
Gem was
fucking set.
such a great episode, too.
Phenomenal episode.
That was third season, too, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Third season gets a bad rep. It was really, really fucking pretty good.
There's a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah. Not all
a lot
of
of
it.
shit too.
Yeah, totally.
It's true of
But
any season of
I
that
was
show.
gonna say though, like, I mean, most of that show had a lot of shit.
About 30 good ones.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, and maybe I guess it's easier said than done. Oh, just pay better writers. Well, that's not really how.
Well,
it
plus,
works,
let's be honest. The way Hollywood works, you could pay the best writer in creation, and then some studio jackfuck is gonna come along and insist on a giant robot spider.
Yeah, these are writers that they got to write spectacle for you because of the giant budget and because they know this is going to look like really good on giant TVs and stuff that people buy now. And
Yeah, I mean, as far as we're only halfway through, but as far as first seasons of Star Trek go, it's
that's true. It is
Oh,
pretty
yeah, no, it's
strong
not bad.
as it's cohesive as a season. I think so far it's like little annoying things that I've been calling out an awful lot, and I've never liked Michael. So
yeah, and I think this episode is pretty good. I think I think they could have skipped the previous episode entirely.
Definitely.
It's weird, right? Because the previous episode is exactly the kind of episode that Star Trek fans say that they like, which is sort of a self-contained away mission,
visit to a planet,
visit a
We love
planet,
it.
a new discovery sort of thing.
Yeah, a different kind of life form than we've talked about before.
Yet, I think, on this show, we were all like, meh.
well, I think even just if it wasn't even this show, I think as far as like in isolation, even it's just like they've done similar stories better already.
Yeah.
It was a middling version of a story they know how to do better.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't think there was
Chris
anything
is all
wrong with
about
it.
calling shit mid these days. I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything particularly offensive about it.
No.
It just wasn't...
What the season needed, or
It wasn't what the season needed. It also just, like to Chris's point,
Would it be a better short track?
It didn't introduce anything novel.
Smoochings.
Well,
The
okay,
smoochings.
but in terms of like the aliens and what they were doing and what it just.
I mean, the thing is too is there's because this season is so heavily serialized. There's a tone to it. There's a thing they're going for, and I feel like this stood out as not fitting in the same way the like random let's do a Western TOS episode in season 3 of Enterprise. Like that episode of Enterprise in say seasons 1 or 2.
Or like the baseball episode of DS9.
No, that's a classic.
Fuck that episode.
I'm not really sure where I stand on that.
You originally hated it.
Did I?
You did.
Okay, then I probably still hate it.
The cowboy episode again, seasons 1 or 2, even 4, sure. But putting it in the middle of your war crime season, really jarring.
Yeah.
In this, it's not as jarring, but it does kind of feel like, we're suddenly doing an episode of Star Trek in the middle of our war season.
Yeah, and thank goodness they didn't end the season break there.
That
The
one, yeah,
mid-season
no.
break. Because that
Would
would
have
have
been
no sense.
awful
But anyway,
choice.
we're talking about last week's
Yeah.
episode.
Meanwhile, this eepisode does wrap up a lot of themes from
Yeah.
the first half of this season pretty well. We've got the Klingon stuff going on. I actually really like that once Tyler did go fucking catatonic, that we were treating it very seriously.
Yeah.
And it ended up being very useful that we didn't kill Cornwell off because
Yep.
she had a very good scene with him being a better empath than Troy.
Yeah.
Low bar.
Well, that's after all these years of you've got TOS where psychology still wasn't a thing. You drank your problems away because that was just what American society was in the 60s. In the 90s Treks, we have a lot of attempts, but it's a lot of bad pop psychology. This feels like they actually maybe sat down and really read 1 or 2 things on how you should really deal with actual psychological issues.
Yeah, I picture Cornwell's actress, whose name I don't have in front of me, so apologies, my dear. I can picture
As
her.
we know, she's a big fan of this show.
I know, it's good to have you aboard. But I can picture her like sitting down with actual psychologists saying like, okay, how would you treat this scene? How would you like act to this character who's in the middle of a breakdown?
I also think that in contrast to 90s Trek, new Trek, perhaps even to a fault, is I think that the creators, the writers, the people that are scoping it out are a more...
You're trying not to say woke, aren't you?
Yes.
Socially conscious.
Socially conscious. We'll go with that. Yeah, I mean, because like in the 90s, like you mostly had, like they were, I don't want to contrast it and say that like 90s Trek or 60s Trek was not woke, because it very much was for its time.
Yeah, it's just that the times keep shifting.
But the times keep shifting, and, you know, for all its wokeness, TNG was still written by majority white men. It was still written by Rick Berman, you know, sexist people that, and, you know, and like you say, pop psychology and all this. I just think that as a society, as creatives, we've gotten better at
treating difficult subject matter.
But like also putting, you know, getting the right people in the room.
Well, I think it also, you know, to the show's defenses, I guess, for lack of a better term, is you can almost chart the evolution of how we treat psychology through the course of all the series.
Yeah, like I just super struggled. If you're following our blog on sshbpodcast.com, which I know you are, like how the fuck do you write about fusion and stigma from Enterprise in a subjective way or in an objective way, because it's so of that era. It's such it's an era where they weren't treating it with the seriousness that it deserved.
Yeah, like,
well, that's the thing. Like in the '60s, you could still like have your child lobotomized for like being naughty, but like pretty much. So
just going to a psychologist at all in that era was still looked at like, oh, why do you need to do that, you freak? Like a whole not McGovern. Someone who was running in the 70s, like, his whole campaign was derailed because people found out he was seeing a shrink.
Oh, I remember that.
God.
It was McGovern, wasn't it?
No, it was one of the other guys that McGovern ultimately defeated.
McGovern was like, that guy's crazy. You don't want to vote for that crazy guy, do you?
I mean, just the media tore him apart.
I know.
Because he was like, how dare he try to get help? And even, you know, again, by the 90s, like, it was being more widely accepted, but there was still a lot of stigma. You know, I remember...
we weren't talking about it. Like, no. I had a friend in high school who I'm still friends with today, and I knew her since I was 6. Like, we went to elementary through high school together, and I found out in adulthood that she'd been in therapy most of her life. And, like, we never talked about it. You know, now... I feel like I would tell a fucking homeless person on the street that I have mental problems and would then discuss them, like, with pretty much anybody, but, like, and maybe, I guess I'm also sort of an anomaly.
Yeah, that sounds like something Tilly would do.
Yeah, well.
To anyone in shouting distance.
Well, maybe there's a reason why I don't hate Tilly, and maybe it's because I see a lot of myself in Tilly.
I have feelings!
Even in my life, even in our lifetime, like, how you discuss and deal with mental health has changed so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, 'cause I remember when I was a kid, I actually knew a few people who were seeing therapists in, like, middle and high school. And it was still a little surprising. And, you know, for me, I come from fucking poor white trash. And there was, you know, from my family's perspective, like, what, they're doing fucking what now? Now, some of that also might have been class resentment. That's a whole different angle. But still, it's now more widely acceptable, I think, to get mental health and deal with it. And, you know, that has very much, because every, you know, Trek is a result of its era. And I feel like, you know, with Discovery, I think, again, maybe in all the seasons, but especially this season, like, their concern is, you know, making a better world by starting with the individual. Like I said, dealing with trauma and other personal issues, because you got to get yourself sorted so you can then deal with the world appropriately, it feels like. And there's some other stuff we will get to when it is revealed that also ties into things. Anyway, that was my mental health tangent. What else we got?
So moving off of that into a different side of the mental health tangent, Stamets does not admit to fucking anyone that, what are your side effects? Oh, I don't have any. Really, fucking Stamets? I mean, we have a list and you have all of them.
Yeah, but he's right. He's right to, I mean, listen, he should have told Colbert. I get why, like, he should have told him because he's his partner. Colbert? There's no T?
No.
It's just Colbert.
It's
like
Jesus
Christ. It's like the Colbert Report.
Dilbert. So Colbert, he should have told him because, like, he's his partner. But I also understand that,
he's
like,
his doctor. He's his doctor, though.
I was gonna say, but that's the thing. Like,
Bang doctor.
If it were me, I wouldn't want to admit to that shit either because I wouldn't want to be fucking put under glass at fucking Starfleet Academy or Starfleet whatever the fuck.
I mean, here's the thing, and I think I said this last week. It's like, he doesn't have to worry. They want to win the war first, then they'll stick him under a microscope.
Yeah, but I wouldn't ever want to be under a microscope. I would want to have, like,
You'd rather
free will.
suffer
I mean,
all
they're
these
also-
side effects.
Oh, here's the
Hey,
thing.
hey, listen. I got myself hospitalized for high blood pressure rather than see a doctor. So, yes.
But
I
also...
mean,
Obviously, I would make the bad
On the
choice.
topic of being put under a microscope, the other issue is just how small microscopes are, because it's really be difficult to fit under a microscope.
They'd make a really big one just for him, you know.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Would they have to smear you onto a glass slide first?
I hope so.
Liquefy you first.
No.
I mean, here's the thing, though.
It's too late. I'm already liquefied.
They're going to want to study him anyway, even not knowing about the side effects, because he's the core of this fucking machine. And they know that already, so...
I don't know why it hasn't really come up. How do we train other people to pilot the machine?
Well, ideally they won't, because the thing is, they don't want anyone else injecting themselves full of tardigrade and becoming tardigrade man.
Tardigrade.
Why not?
Because it's eugenics!
Yeah, but you still want... I feel like in a wartime situation, especially Lorca, he's going to need a backup.
Yeah, dude, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. They're totally going to be on board with this eugenics thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some Badmiral is definitely down for it.
Yeah, I mean, because that is sort of the fatal flaw right now in the Spore system drive is it requires a human operator, and the human operator also needs to have been genetically altered.
Okay, so here's a question. Complete theoretical that really doesn't matter. But we know by the late 24th century they have bioneural circuitry. Can you eugenicize that? Can you fill a bioneural packet with some tardigrade DNA and then run a spore drive
Like
off
on the
of that?
Voyager?
Yeah.
Well, this is much earlier.
No, I know, but if they still had records of it, 150 years later, could they be like, wait a minute?
Well, I also
Records of the spore drive.
I think
would be
there's also
stolen.
Yes,
but you might also need like a really sophisticated computer.
No, I know.
Maybe like a bioneural positronic brain
Oh, yeah,
computer.
Data could do it.
Yeah, but he doesn't. But he's not biological, so he wouldn't be able to have
know-
the spore stuff.
You know who could do it if they got their hands on this tech? The fucking Borg.
I was going to say the
Oh, yeah,
Borg
Borgs
for
would
sure.
be great at it, but
The
they
whole-
got transwarp, so they
This
don't
is
need
even
this shit.
faster.
Yeah, but
You
it's,
can get literally anywhere in the blink of an eye. Imagine the Borg with spore tech. Everyone's
yeah,
fucked.
That's true. It's
Go
probably- it's a
Borg.
Good thing
Team
they never
Borg.
got it.
Yep.
Maybe that'll be a plot of a later season of Discovery.
Jesus, if we got more Picard, it sure as fuck would have been.
More Borg. Morg.
Yeah, I mean, because we really haven't talked about how spore tech is
Magic?
well, it's not just magic, but it's completely universe breaking, and that's kind of the problem with the show being a prequel. Is they're gonna have to, wink, find some way of burying spore drive tech, because otherwise any future Star Trek doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think, their angle here is just that it's impossible to make work unless you inject someone full of this stuff, and...
But they figured that out in a week. They can figure out a way.
Yeah, and it's also just it's so OP that there would be Badmirals chomping at the bit. Champing at the bit? Chomping?
I think it's chomping.
Okay.
I think it's champing.
Doing something at the bit to do this to people and make armies of sport. And they'd get away with it because they always do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like, they've made it seem like, again, they don't have the computing power in the 23rd century. They probably don't even by the 24th. Like...
Daystrom could figure it out. He's a smart guy.
It is, in fact, champing at the bit.
Oh, okay.
Meaning to be impatient or eager to start something, while chomping is considered a less precise variation, though widely used.
There you go.
The key difference is that champing is the more accurate term when describing a horse impatiently chewing on its bit, while chomping often implies a more forceful biting or chewing action associated with eating food.
Well, there
The
we are.
Soongs could have handled it.
Soongs could have figured it out. Daystrom probably could have. Yeah, I think there's lots of smart people that and like no way, Section 31 doesn't have a spore drive somewhere. Like they're not letting this tech go. You kidding?
I'll have to see what if it comes up in that stinking movie that's about to release. Hey, but at this point it's probably right about time it's releasing.
Like I'm surprised we don't have a plot about a rogue spore drive ship running around doing bad thing.
Yeah, we still could someday.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Discovery's kind of the rogue bad ship doing bad thing.
Yeah, well, they keep getting away with it because Badmirals don't care.
Oh, yeah, well, and speaking of Badmirals, Goodmirals, we got Cornwell here. Did she, we never see her again after she leaves the ship. We're just told by Admiral Vulcan that, okay, she's on her way to...
We're fixing her legs.
We're going to fix her up.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So we never get a scene in this episode between her and Lorca.
Oh, you're right.
When there absolutely should be, because the last she saw him, she fired his ass on the honor system. And
Fool.
And
Cornwell.
I guess now if they did have a meeting, it would be like, see, aren't you glad I didn't let you fire me because I just saved you?
He wasn't planning to save her. They
No,
did not know
but
she
he
was
would
even
definitely
alive.
take credit.
That was
for
gravy.
It.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
And and she could be like, okay, Gabe, you jerk. All right, now bang me, and then I got to go get my leg fixed because they bang. And that's established.
Yeah.
Bang me, baby, one more time.
Another thing about Cornwell.
Very good, Ames.
So it was established in that episode that she is like a counselor.
Yeah.
And again, it's reinforced here. But she's also like a wartime military commander or something.
Yeah, we talked about this before. I mean, the thing is, she was just, like everyone in Starfleet, Starfleet is not first and foremost a military organization, but once war were declared, you're fighting a war now.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we're not a military organization, so they claim.
Yeah, well, that's been
I
attention in Star Trek for a long time.
It would be like an admiral title. I think we did talk about this.
We did.
Okay.
A few weeks ago.
Then I'll shut up because I've already had this. I've already litigated this.
But yeah,
Just cut it from that episode, put it here.
But yeah, it's just a case of like, once Starfleet goes to war, hey, guess what? It's war times now. That should be a thing, like, hey, so you signed up for reason A. No harm, no foul if you want to quit. Because we're into reason B right now.
And I guess there is precedent because Admiral Satie, she was like a jurist. She was a lawyer or a judge or something.
Yeah.
Well, her dad was a judge. But that's why she was involved in the Drumhead incident.
Yeah.
But we also know from not Best of Both Worlds, from All Good Things, that she was also the admiral, the head of Starfleet operations that ordered Picard to take command of the Enterprise. So
this is in the All First Things portions of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think, the way, this is not how it would work in real world at fucking all, but the way Star Trek is always treated is just like, if you stay in Starfleet long enough, you just keep getting fucking promoted, and one day you're an admiral.
Yeah, but it does seem like you would have admirals with specific expertise that would not necessarily be doing all of the things.
Yeah, you'd think, but... Again,
Pilot admiral.
I don't think Star Trek, again, has ever really understood how admirals work.
No.
It's just one day you're an admiral and you're in charge, is what that means.
They're following the career track in The Sims, and that's how they all go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this actually once, I forget what series in relation to, but the fact that captain seems to be everyone's goal and end game. And there's some people who'd be like, I don't fucking wanna. Yeah. I'm very happy to just be the best at what I do, but I don't want to run a ship. Jesus fuck.
And you can also have the rank of captain, but not command a ship like Scotty.
Yeah. But still, even then, they definitely treat it more as a thing that you will eventually have.
Yeah, true.
If you don't retire. Yeah,
also captain, I think we've talked about this before too, but captain in the Navy on Earth, is quite high ranking. It's most naval ships probably aren't even commanded by a captain.
Yeah, they have the title but not the rank.
Yeah. Captain is like an honorific that you give to the person commanding.
Because you're running the ship, but not because you actually reach the rank.
The actual rank of captain is quite high. I think it's equivalent to lieutenant colonel or something in the army.
That I don't know, but yeah, I know an army captain is way lower.
Yeah, it might be equivalent to colonel. I'm not
Wouldn't
sure.
you think they would have made that shit line up? To make it less confusing.
Yeah,
tradition.
It goes back to British Navy shit,
Yeah.
We all know basing everything off of the Brits is the best idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they sure had it figured out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we did get what would be our chronologically first, where no one has gone before, and then the fans jizz.
Oh, that's right. He said the thing.
He said it.
He said the thing.
We also got our chronologically first Tig Ol' Bitties.
What?
Would that be our chronologically only take old biddies? I don't remember having seen any naked titties.
Oh,
since.
we did watch that that Star Trek porn
Oh
parody.
yeah, that porn, right? Yeah, but that
But
came
we
out
watched-
way before this.
we
didn't
also
it? Oh, but not
watched it edited.
chronologically.
We
yeah,
watched
you're
the
right.
edited version, but I hear
Yeah, maybe you guys
I
did.
hear there's an uncensored version out there.
Maybe you guys watched it censored, but
Wasn't that a semi-competent story, no less?
I remember it being not the worst.
Yeah, I remember being
Better
kinda-
than some episodes.
better than most of Enterprise.
But yeah. So that would have been later chronologically. But these, yeah. So why
show nudity?
Yeah, why do I need it? It's just it felt kind of like the F-bomb. It just feels like they did it because they could, because they wanted a headline in, Star Trek first, full frontal nudity. Ugh.
I mean, the thing is, like, the fuck also at least is just a word. Like, this is so awkward because it's like, this is a guy's PTSD flashback. It feels really inappropriate to show nudity there.
Yeah, we're watching this guy get raped.
Like, it's
ostensibly,
not meant to be titillating the way it's being shot and stuff, but still, like, you didn't have to show the nudity.
I mean, you could have
shot around it.
Yeah, you could have shown everything but.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really, like, weird and uncomfortable.
It really just it's so that there would be a headline the next day, have someone saying, "Oh my God, Klingon titties."
Yeah, and they're just prosthetics too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can also get around, like saying, like, "Oh, well, but they're actually made of paper mache." And
Yeah, that's the thing. We still actually have not had real nudity in Star Trek.
the best we've had is
Which is-
Jolene Blaylock behind a sheet.
True.
And,
Yeah,
and that's the best we'll ever have.
I don't need nudity in Star Trek, just to be clear.
I wouldn't mind it.
I don't need it. I mean, and I know that
It
this.
depends on
and the
how
other
it
thing too
services
is that
the
like this
story.
was. I mean, this show. I don't know what this show was rated in terms of like the, those TV Tipper Gore ratings.
Yeah.
But I mean, it certainly should be high. This is definitely in like the 17 plus. Not just because of the nudity, because I'm not that prudish. But I think the violence in this show, we talked about it last week with the complete.
That electrocution was pretty brutal.
Well, and also like the.
Oh yeah, the strewn
corpses.
about dead people.
The butchered
Steaming
Klingons
this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing is, like, in reality, though, you wouldn't have to do too much trimming to probably get it acceptable for network broadcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about Conspiracy. In TNG, where they blew that fucking guy up.
And that
Yeah,
level
but
of...
that was paper mache too.
But it was fucking horrifying. Like, just the shot of his flesh burning off and revealing the alien monster is like, oh my God!
I'm sure for 90, whatever that was, too, 90-ish.
That would have been 88.
80, that was that early? Fuck.
That was first season.
For that era, like, I'm sure that was maybe controversial. Like, they probably had to really convince the censors to let them show that.
Well, remember, that was also a first run syndication, so
True.
It would have probably been up to individual broadcasters to be like,
That's
There,
a good
there was
point.
no network censor. There was,
Yeah.
I remember telling the story on that episode, so, go back, listen to that episode, but here's a quick recap. They basically showed it to a 6-year-old, and the 6-year-old loved it.
Well, yeah, 6-year-olds are
6-year-olds
fucking
love heads
psychopaths.
exploding.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more sensitive to like senseless violence shit now than I was as a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this kid would love RoboCop.
I mean, what does that say? Well, that says more about 6-year-olds
Shoot
in
him
the
in a
80s
dick.
than it says about anything. Because, like,
True.
man, we watched some crazy
The shit we were allowed. We've said this before.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I think, like, this show just does not... It's not a family show.
No. But it's
And
weird.
that's okay. I mean, it's okay to have stuff for grown-ups.
It's weird because, like I said, in reality, and I think it's to your point of, like, doing it because they could, because it wouldn't be... Like, you could excise a lot of the stuff that makes it not a family show, and you wouldn't actually lose much.
Would be missing anything at all?
You know, you cut out some of the, like, more violent endings. Like, you can show it starting, and then it's like, okay, we're going to cut away, and this and that, and not show this or that or whatever. And it's like... So, yeah, I think... Like I said, serving the story, you know, and how much does it?
Yeah,
I
meanwhile,
think that that's the distinction for gratuitous, right? Like,
Yeah.
You know, it's like this. I feel like a lot of the gore and the sex and the cussing and all that on this show, it doesn't bother me.
it sets a tone.
But it sets a tone, and I think
Yeah.
it's gratuitous because it doesn't, to your point, it doesn't serve the story. The story would work fine with or without it.
I think for me, gratuitous, though, I don't think it necessarily crosses the line gratuitous for me, because for me, gratuitous doesn't serve it, but also actively hurts it. So the fact that it, like, I'm like, whatever. Again, with the exception of, I do feel it's weird to show, like, Tyler's, like, again, it feels like, that feels tasteless. That I will say. The rest of it, though, I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever.
Meanwhile, in something like Picard, if you cut out all the gratuitous violence, you'd have no show left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was Picard really that gratuitous? I thought it was just bad.
It was both.
That whole show was gratuitous. It didn't need to exist.
Yeah, I'm still sad about that.
I am not looking forward to it at all.
I am. Our conversations are going to be fun.
That's actually true, though. It probably will be some of the best convo we'll have. But
I just ran out of so much energy with Enterprise. I'm not going to be recharged.
Oh, don't worry.
By the
We
time
have
we
to
get
go
Picard.
through all of this, and we have to do the other one also, right? Don't we have to do Lower Decks first?
No, Picard came first.
Picard started before Lower Decks?
Yep.
So,
Also-
that's what we're working on next?
Picard always comes first.
Everything
Just ask
sucks.
Ash.
Well, at least there's a lot of this.
Isn't that funny?
No.
Jake, you're not that funny.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Don't trust Chris.
It was a
You're not
premature
that funny.
ejaculation joke.
I'm not even gonna
Was
smirk.
that a gratuitous premature
Yes,
ejaculation
we should have
joke?
cut that.
Speaking of, if we cut gratuitous, this show would be much shorter.
Oh my. Well, I beg for it every fucking week.
Anyway,
Anyway, getting back to some other
Yes,
notes.
please.
The writers originally planned, and I fucking hate this, that Stamets would do 525,600 jumps.
micro jumps.
Oh,
that's fucking
fucking
stupid.
Which is fucking stupid.
Well, and because
That also
they
would've killed him.
But they also are like, when we get back home, we'll go see La Boheme, which is another fucking Rent reference.
That's
Were
a
you gonna say
better
that?
reference. Yeah,
Also-
I agree with that being also a Rent thing, but it's that one I think is a cleverer
Is Rent
reference.
based on La Boheme?
Yes.
Did I never
Very-
realize that?
And there's in fact a song in the show called La Vie Boheme.
Well, and also, like, that one at least is a subtler one. Like you said, like, you would... The fact that's a Rent reference, you didn't know. And also, I do appreciate that apparently Stamets doesn't actually like La Boheme.
Yeah, and didn't they say they met at like an opera or a play
Yes.
or something? So yeah, it also ties back into their character. So decent reference.
Yeah,
to
it
that.
works much, much better.
Yeah, because otherwise, like that number of jumps is just too nail on the head.
Stupid.
Also, that's a ton of jumps.
That's way too many
Yeah,
jumps.
no, that's... I mean, 130,
insane.
133 feels excessive, so...
And 133 is a reference to the Battlestar Galactica episode 33, which is a phenomenal episode.
Oh, is
Fair
that
enough.
the one where they only have 33 minutes before they get attacked?
Yeah.
I've seen
whatever
that
the
one.
fuck?
That is a good episode.
I've seen that one
The
too,
early
and that
ones.
is a good one.
Yeah, we've only seen the first couple. Someday we'll see more of it, but that is a
We
damn good
really
episode.
should. We should make a plan to like sit down and watch that
I
shit
think that's
because
the first
you know
episode
who
of
else
the
has a plan?
season, or is it Water? Which one's the first?
I think it's.
Oh, you mean
technically
like after
first
the
act.
pilot?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
because
that's right.
The pilots are a movie.
Yeah, there's the miniseries that was the battle, and then that might be the first of the series proper.
I just really want to watch it more so I can continue to watch Not Julian get jerked off in
There's a lot of
inappropriate
that.
times.
You're gonna see a lot of.
Yeah, I
that.
hate it actually. When I said that I was lying, I really don't care for it. It makes me
You learn to love it.
It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't know that I will.
Other notes that I have: one, Michael Burnham wasn't scripted to cry during her scene with Tyler, but Sonequa Martin Green did it anyway.
And thus it begins.
It is a really good scene.
It's a great scene.
And it's an
But
appropriate. Like,
but it's funny because it's become a meme at this point that like every episode
She cries.
Burnham has to cry, and like now we know.
That it's all started with her. She decided it. She made it.
she's this series Robert Picardo with her ideas.
Oh, I was gonna say. I was like, I don't remember Robert Picardo crying, but
She never gets a sweet smoking jacket.
I wonder whose idea is the bouncy run.
She does get a really good dress uniform.
the bouncy run.
She wants
when
bouncing.
she jogs around the ship, she has like
Dude,
a...
she has boobs. What do you want?
No, not that kind of bounce. She,
Oh,
like,
I was gonna say.
She like
Yeah, you weren't-
jump runs kind of.
That
Oh.
was magic to make the Sanus man go mad. You weren't here. I posited it's because she only has so much set.
That seems very likely. Also, we get our very first Star Trek kiss between two men, and this is 22 years after rejoined the first kiss between two women.
Wow.
So it's been a while.
It's been a long road.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, their gays didn't exist until
I think this show turned everybody gay. Actually,
pretty
if I'm
much.
not mistaken.
because you recall that in
sure
Rejoin
that's Strange New Worlds.
they weren't. It wasn't
Is it?
a
I haven't
gay. It was
watched
a
that in a minute.
same-sex kiss, but it wasn't a gay kiss because they were kissing because
The Trills were kissing.
Yes.
they used to be man and wife.
Yeah, so that's how they squeaked it past.
Yeah, but now this is legit the first gay kiss with two characters that are same sex and are in a same sex relationship.
But the thing is, though, the Trills are all gay. I mean, because they all be fucking people.
Well, they might be. The Trills, like the symbionts, might be genderless. We don't.
That's
know.
the most likely thing. But yeah, I think in reality, if you had a culture like the Trill, I think they probably. Yeah, everyone's just casually bi and pansexual on Trill.
I mean, according to Roddenberry, everyone's bi and pansexual everywhere in the future. So.
Well, and
naked.
And to be honest, frankly, everyone is a little gay. I mean, most people are a little gay.
I'm the straightest person on
I'm just saying, like, if you ever looked at a man and thought he has pretty eyes, that's all. That's your 1% on the Kinsey scale. Like, I just don't.
I've never thought that, but I've looked at a man and been like, man, I'd like to suck him off.
I'm so glad that you said that, Jake. I love you.
It's not Star Trek that made me gay. It was Oscar Isaac in
so it was Star Wars.
Episode 7, yeah. That thing, the alt-right is right. Like, modern genre shit. It was Oscar Isaac kind of cracked the door open. Fucking Tyler, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Tyler's a sexy fuck. And then the Dadmiral, he's pretty sexy.
Anson Mount.
Oh, I mean, who's that? Who's the Dadmiral? Never mind, we don't know who that is.
So,
Anson Mount, aptly named.
Yeah.
Ayo.
I'd like to.
Modern science fiction turned me
I'd like
bisexual.
Chris was always there within you.
But you know who starts it off? Trip fucking Tucker.
He loves fucking.
What about Connor Trenier, Chris?
Oh, he's hot.
I was still not fully aware. I should have been. There was that guy in 11th grade I had a crush on, but I didn't know it was a crush.
You had a crush on a boy in 11th grade?
I didn't know it at the time, but in retrospect, yes.
You're so cute. I love that for you.
Let's see.
All right, so we can all talk about our crushes on Trip Tucker right now because we're going to segue so smoothly into our character spotlight. One of the better Enterprise characters. Hooray!
Arguably the only good
As I said several times towards the end, had the
so many times toward the end.
arc Archer should have had.
Yeah.
You just say that because he dies?
It was
I
really
agree. We should have killed off Archer.
So I'm sure we have a lot of good Tucker moments. I came up with 0 bad Tucker moments because...
So you turned some of your good moments into bad moments.
Yeah, well,
By saying he didn't do this enough.
To paraphrase Parks and Rec, Trip has never done anything wrong in his life, ever.
When is it Parks
and we know this, and we love him.
Oh, gosh, yes, John Raffio. Holy...
No, it was John Raffio's sister that said it.
What's her name?
I don't remember.
But yes, I remember the scene, and thank you, Henry Winkler. I love you.
Yes. Anyway, no, I did actually come up with
Do you ever realize how often you know the name of a male actor and not a female actor and get really pissed because you're like, God damn it, why is the misogyny still coming from inside the house?
Well, I'm also incredibly face blind about a lot of women.
I mean, also, like...
Well, it's because you're too busy checking out their titties.
I don't know the actor's name, to be fair.
Wait, I want to hear what
John
Ames was going to
Raffio's
say,
actor.
because... What were you going to say, Ames? You're very face blind.
I'm very face blind because I think they lean towards a lot of pretty women who all look the same to me.
That's true.
When casting things.
Well, we talked about this in about Star Trek, where we were talking about how there was like a lot of like, would you call it homogenized looks? Like they had like between 4 and 6 faces that they were looking for on women. Yeah. I don't think that's any different now.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. The only thing that's different is like which network is in charge. Like there is a CW look.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
There's like
and that look
4 men and 2 women that you are allowed.
The blonde and the brunette.
Basically,
their faces are identical.
Honestly, so many of the women look so much the fuck alike on those shows.
Does the CW even exist anymore?
Well, I don't know, but whoever owns them now. But again, it's
I guess it is. Yeah, it's still a thing.
Well, I was going to say Supernatural ended, so who gives a fuck?
Also, John Raffio was Ben Schwartz, who is great in everything I've seen him in so far.
Oh, he's great. He's great in Parks and Rec.
He was, we talked about him a few weeks ago, he was the gangster's son in Renfield.
Right.
Anyway, Connor Trenier.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Do it.
No.
I'm going to go with refusing to leave Zhou Khan to die in Dawn.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that was mine on my list too.
Wait, that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Good thing. Again, like, just to the point of what I've always said about his arc. Working through all of his Season 3 anger and finally coming to sort of an understanding of sorts with Degra in the Council.
Yeah. The only good thing about the Council, probably.
Like the Council, I remember us actually liking.
Yeah.
Did we?
Well, because again, like, if nothing else, someone on that damn season is, like, coming to their senses. And just his good friendship with Reed, which really gets kicked off, I would say, in Shuttlepod 1.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Oh, they are good friends, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go. Yeah, so I also had, I didn't remember the alien's name, but
I only know because I looked it up.
befriending and saving the hostile alien in Dawn, which was very good. I'm putting it on here because this was one that straddled the line, but then I was like, no, it was a good thing in the end. Well, no, it was actually a bad thing in the end. It was a good thing to do with a bad outcome, and that is trying to help Charles in the cogenitor. Yeah, but like I'm not gonna like I think it might be controversial because it's like okay, yeah, Prime Directive, which didn't exist to be fair.
Nope.
But also like it did. Charles did commit suicide in the end, and to Archer's point, that would not have happened without Trip involving himself in it.
No, it's on my list too, Jake, because I found like just treating them like a person.
Yeah.
Where no one else did, is already a good moment.
Not being shitty. And like honestly, like if that was the existence that Charles was gonna have, then like who knows? And then my third thing is going to be being the one person on the ship to not go girl crazy in Bound. Actually, not because I think T'Pol also was not affected, right?
Because they're a forced they're a forced dyad, so
yeah, right. It was because he had the Vulcan jizz in him that he didn't get it. But yeah, exactly. Being everyone else on the ship turned into a horny asshole, especially Kelby or whatever his name was. Fuck that guy.
The guy who should have been the secret bad man.
Yeah, but yeah, Trip, good on you. There you go.
He's a good guy. We like Trip. How about you, Caitlin? What do you feel about Trip?
I love Trip.
I remember I was re-listening, looking for good moments in Ship to some of our early map episodes.
I wasn't super impressed.
Yeah,
by
and you
him
were like,
well,
I like Trip, and we was like, basically said like, we think you're gonna like Trip.
I do. I like Trip a lot. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember anything about this show. As soon as it was over, it dumped out my ear. I'm good with it. What are we doing? Good first?
Good.
I only have one bad one. I don't know why I feel like I really wish it was there. He teaches the cogenitor how to be a people because he doesn't like that he's not being treated like a people. They are not being treated like a people. You think about good Trip moments. Do you ever have his shirt off?
A lot.
Frequently.
Yeah. Those were good. I like those times. Can you pick just a random screen cap of him having his shirt off?
Yeah, I think on Dawn he's not a shirt off it. So.
And he was always good. Everything he did was good. How do you pick anything everything he does is good?
So I love that your Archer answer was everything he does is bad, and for Trip it's everything he does is good.
It's
He's
true.
Anti-Archer.
He is. I don't know. I feel like I have to agree with you about the Degra thing and like coming to.
That was him.
Oh, you. I have to agree with you because in the beginning he's like, "Remember how you fucking blew up? Hey, have you heard of Florida? Yeah, that's a place you fucking blew up, bitch. My sister was there." To go from that to like, all right, we can have this sort of slightly uncomfortable working relationship.
I think overcoming prejudice is a positive trait.
Yeah, in general. Something that Archer could fucking learn from, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, no, Archer just has to be continually told he's right. It's like, oh no, you were right, the Vulcan government was bad, and Soval approves of everything you did, and he never learns a lesson. He's just always told he's right.
Yeah.
God, I hate him.
I have a bunch of spares. So my first question is, would we count moments from Sim?
Sure.
In that case, Sim. Sim was great, and I think he saves the fucking damn day when he Rudolphs some shuttle pods through that ether of shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's all thanks to Sim. And even though it's fucking tragic, like, I think him accepting his fate, it's a great moment. It's some great acting from Trenier. I don't know if I can agree with, what he does, because I'd love for him to stick around. And mostly it's because I'm angry at Archer.
Wouldn't T'Pol have loved for him to stick around? Wouldn't you say that 2 trips is better than 1?
Well, you can only have one is the thing.
Yeah.
But I fucking love everything Sim does. That's such a great episode for him and all that shit. So that's tippy top of my list.
And yet Sim will be one of the episodes where I'm like, God damn it, Phlox, you piece of immoral garbage.
Oh yeah, that will come up in a couple of weeks. So prepare for that. A couple other good Trip moments. He does his space shimmy through space between the Columbia and the Enterprise in Divergence when this is the story of the ship that couldn't slow down.
And the man who gave up everything to keep them together.
I need one more, and I think I'm going to
Arrested
give it
Development.
to when he comes clean to Paul that he read the letter to her from her fiance thing in Breaking the Ice, because he's an honest guy, and we need more of those, so good on him.
Good job, Trip.
Yeah. Still fucked up sometimes, though.
Oh, he does. He definitely does.
No, he doesn't.
He does. I have several moments for you guys.
That whole arc, fucking... The, like, teen angst, I'm in love with T'Pol arc, and he decides to leave the ship in the Enar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Stupid.
dumb. I hate that.
Same.
You know, I'm gonna put it here. He meant well, but Trip, buddy, there are professionals who deal with that sort of thing. You kind of fucked up in Progenitor.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like,
Well, yeah.
like he definitely, his heart was in the right place, but, like, there are people whose whole, like, career is studying how to help people out of these sorts of situations. And just being like, I can fix it. It's like, oh, you meant well, but oh no, you shouldn't. Oh.
Yeah, but, like,
thing.
doesn't somebody have to try?
Yeah.
Are there those people?
We
don't-
Like
sure.
deprogrammers.
Yeah, there's. I mean, someone who helps abuse victims.
Oh, you're talking about those like psychological people, not
Yeah.
not like prime directive people, because that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, like there's people in the real world whose like whole thing is like, I will, because you can't, you know, just again like Archer. Fuck Archer. Everything he did there was wrong. Fuck you, John, so much. And again, his heart was definitely in the right place, but
Fuck you very much, John. All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I still think overall it was a good thing, but I think
It was.
I think.
but I have to acknowledge that there was an element of I kind of fucked up here.
Yeah. I
Well,
agree.
what should he have done? Taken them into sanctuary? What am I looking for? Asylum. Take them into asylum, which Archer wouldn't allow. You have to bring them somewhere else because we don't have a psychologist on board.
Yeah, no, I don't
I
know.
don't know if there's anything else he could have done.
Yeah, I know. It's
I mean, ultimately, the bad part of it is because of Archer, because he didn't
Yeah.
fight Asylum.
yeah, but
Yeah,
you know,
man,
it's-
Archer sucks.
Well, but again,
Fuck that guy.
those other people were far more powerful. And,
Yeah,
Mm.
true.
Like he couldn't just kidnap their baby machine.
Yeah, I don't know. But still, I wanted to mention that I have to acknowledge that there's better ways to go about it, probably. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, I don't...
I mean,
well-
maybe you just, unfortunately, I don't know. And
Kidnappings.
our buddy Trip gets the distinction of being a guy who, it's not something he did, but something the show inflicted upon him, which normally happens to our female characters. Just that whole subplot with Feasel and Stigma.
Oh, that one.
Again, not something he did, but something the show did to him.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be on my Phlox moments, though. So.
Yeah.
Why don't you fuck my wife? Well, see, even my Phlox accent is gone. What was that?
Oh my
That wasn't
God!
Phlox.
Who was that?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Let me think about it for a second.
I don't know, but I'm gonna go. So
You go.
If it occurs to you, say it later. All right. Bad moments for Trip. Whatever the fuck was going on in Precious Cargo.
Oh
Yes!
my fucking God. Precious
I definitely
cargo.
considered
I mean,
that.
not
Bad
that like
Trip,
he
bad.
not that he did it terribly bad, I guess, but like just everything about that episode was
So
terrible,
bad.
and he was in it. So
Yep,
Such
he sure
a bad
was.
episode.
He was all the way in it, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
That's right.
And then kind of like building on moments that Chris and Caitlin both mentioned, I'm going to say the way he treated Degra, I don't remember the episode name, but when Degra came on board and
The Forgotten, I bet.
The Forgotten, yeah, I think you're right.
That sounds right.
And Trip, basically, like Archer brings Degra down to like help out or give information on how to do Zindi shit or whatever. And Trip is like, "Oh, bitch, you remember Florida? That's where my sister lived, you piece of fuck."
And then Degra's like, oh, wow, we did her a favor then.
Oh, we've
Hey!
And like to be fair, I don't want to say that Trip was wrong for having negative feelings about Degra because
But we're busy, friend.
But like, read the
Yeah,
room.
Keep it
Trip.
professional,
Like
douchebag.
he's okay. Yes, he's Degra at this point has basically come around to realizing that he's was wrong to build this weapon in the first place, and
we're in the middle of a mission.
and we
right
have like
now.
a very, very tenuous sort of truce with him, and it's like Trip,
Yell at him later.
Chuck,
Only Archer
chill
may yell
the
at people.
fuck out. Like, get it. We get it. You want to punch this guy's lights out. I know. But for the good of...
And normally we'd be
like,
on your side.
You're jeopardizing this entire... Like, we're going to lose this fucking war if we don't get this guy's help. So, unless you want the rest of Earth to also be Florida, which a lot of people
God.
do, seemingly.
Oh, God.
I can't imagine anything worse.
Then just put on a fucking happy face and play nice for 10 minutes.
Riding mowers
So, like,
everywhere.
yeah, so just yeah. Like, I don't want to say, like, yeah, he should have, got down on his knees and treated Degra that good, but he at least should have not potentially fucked up the mission. It's a good thing that Degra was self-aware enough later to be like, man, it really was my fault that guy was so messed up.
Yeah, I never thought I'd meet someone who was actually affected by it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it worked out okay because Degra apparently is a more decent human being than anybody else on this show.
He's a Zindi.
He's a fucking mass weapons designer with a conscience.
With a heart of gold.
With a heart of gold, yep.
And then my last moment, shocked this hasn't come up yet, is just the way he fucking died.
Yep. Terrible.
Why do you have to steal my fucking joke third answer, Jake?
That is my number one on my list.
I mean,
that is
because it's bullshit.
That is the stupidest
All right, well, in
thing.
that case.
Because, like, it's not just that he died.
It's also
that
poorly acted as hell.
it was poorly acted by everyone involved. It was out of nowhere in terms of, like, writing. He died by basically suicide to help John because these aliens we've never seen before
Don't even get the names of.
show up for reasons.
On his most important day of his life!
I did have it down in case no one brought it up for any reason. Dishonorable
As a
mention.
dishonorable mention.
Sacrificing himself for fucking Archer of all people. I know they're technically friends for some reason, but...
I like water polo.
Yeah, anyway, but that was terrible.
Alright, well, now I have to go back to my other third joke. Good thing I have a backup. Yeah, him dying like a bitch is stupid, and I hate it. And since it's not something he did, it's something the show did to him, it sucks. If anyone else could have died, and I would have been like, who cares?
Archer would have been great.
Would have been, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You're right. Would have
Actually,
cared.
yeah.
Would have cared just as much, but in a good way. But yeah, it's bullshit. Yeah, precious moments. Fucking
Precious
No,
moments.
precious
I love
moments.
it.
Don't
I
give a
love
fuck.
it.
It's precious moments now. Hate that episode.
I
Hate
love-
that fucking girl. Hate Trip for being like. What was alluring? Like the way she treated you like a peasant. Were you into that? Aren't you used to that being from Florida? Like what did what was the allure? Just she was there.
I like the idea, though, that Trip is secretly really into Precious Moments figurines now. They're like this rare 20th century bauble that...
I mean, he had like the Frankenstein
it's amazing.
thing and everything. Now I want someone to make a custom Precious Moments of a scene from that episode with like the two little...
Well,
like,
don't worry,
one
there's
painted
somebody
like
out there that
Trip,
can
the
do
other
it.
one painted like whatever the woman's name was.
Kaitama.
There you go.
Thank you.
Shit. What was my joke? Oh no. Oh. Okay, I remember it now. I think he's great, but man, he really pushes movies down everybody's throat.
Oh, I almost listed that.
He will not take no for an answer when it comes to his precious movies.
Precious
or
moments.
his precious moments.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's also just like because it's Star Trek or at least Star Trek in the 90s, and they don't acknowledge any pop culture beyond like 1960.
And it's like
It's
all
all-
the old shit. It's like
B horror movies.
yeah, why?
Like, why is he so into his Frankenstein films? Those
He'd be really cool now.
I'm reminded there were actually licensed TOS Precious Moments
Oh,
figurines.
Well,
No.
you know what
I
Jake's
can only
getting for
imagine
Christmas.
They're hideous.
They're
Yeah, of
Speaking
course.
of hideous things, I have a bunch more hideous things Trip does that I don't like that he does.
fair.
Yeah, so his fucking death was my number one moment, so I'm gonna go down to some spares. The fucking mutiny in Hatchery. Everybody who's involved is gonna get a mention of the fucking mutiny in Hatchery.
but it was a good mutiny.
No, it was not a good mutiny. They were like, Archer isn't committing enough war crimes and killing enough babies.
Yeah.
Let's mutiny about it. Trip, damn it. Don't like it.
Trip, damn it. Let's replace his God damn
Everyone
it from now
sucked
on.
in that one, didn't they?
Everyone sucked. Let's go with... Oh, I have a bunch of other ones. Oh, I love this one. This one's great. So in The Shipment, when Archer gives him a Zindi weapon to go dissect and figure out how it works, he tests it in the armory of all fucking places.
Yeah.
Especially after T'Pol told him a scene previous, go down to like a planet and test it. Don't test it on the ship. And then something goes wrong and he has to beam it into space and fucking damn it, Trip.
Trip, damn it.
Trip, damn it. Bad trip moment. And I
Trip,
need one
you tripping.
more, and it's gonna be... Oh, let's just go with how much he flips the fuck out when he's in that different pressure environment and unexpected, like a little baby. And we made a lot of fun of him, so I'm gonna make more fun of him right now.
I mean, also in terms of unexpected, none of us brought up his pregnancy. I don't know if that
That's
falls
not his
under
fault.
good moments or bad moments.
I wouldn't
It's a
call that
moment.
his fault either.
It's a precious moment.
Oh.
I didn't expect to be a single father or whatever the fuck, a working father, working mother, whatever he
Another
says.
mention I would like to, because you mentioned the Zindi weapon. I also want to mention, blowing up the science lab, trying to replicate Trillium D.
Oh, yeah.
When was that?
Trillium D's nuts.
Remember, yeah, he and T'Pol were...
Thanks,
were,
Jake.
Remember they were trying to create Trillium D? I think that's what they were doing. They were trying
Yeah,
to synthesize it.
yeah, that was...
So what? So T'Pol could get a fucking hit?
No, it was before she
and
was...
They exploded the lab.
I don't remember
That's why you don't try to make your own meth. You go to the
Yeah,
professionals.
they're little meth lab. Like, literally
T'Pol.
for T'Pol, it was meth.
Wow. Can you find me what episode that's in? Because I don't remember this at all.
I actually don't either. But I
Or if it's an
I
honorable
literally
mention, it
don't
might
remember
not make
anything
it.
from this.
Dishonorable mention, though. And this is also a dishonorable mention for Reed, even though we haven't gotten to him. Falling for the most obvious honeypot
Oh, yeah.
on Ryza. Like,
On 2
guys!
days and 2 nights.
Guys!
I had
Come
that
on.
one.
The synthesis process was very complex and dangerous due to the high levels of pressure and radiation involved.
Exciting.
The episode it happened was Regine. It was in
Oh, that was a bad episode.
Yeah, well, because it had a bad A
That's
plot.
why we forgot. That whole
There was
season.
so much other bad shit going
whole
on that
show.
I didn't think of it.
Yeah. Oof. Oh, God, yeah, Regine. I forgot about that episode. That episode sucked.
I don't know what that is.
That's the one with the girl that, like...
The Orion girl?
No,
No.
that's Bound. That episode also
No, this
sucks.
is the one where she's like but she is a slave girl that Archer buys.
But it turns out she's not really.
No, she was
she's
she
a
was
spy.
a spy for the Zindi.
Yeah.
Damn.
And she uses like this X-ray thing on T'Pol and Archer.
Yeah,
But I'm assuming he still paid for her, though?
I don't remember how he got her. I think
Well.
no, she escaped from the.
I think
I don't
I think she
remember.
requested asylum or some shit.
Yeah, but like she was being. They were selling her at that weird market, and then she ran away
That might be. I don't know.
to John. But then he got into a fight with the slaver. I can't remember what ended up happening.
It's all stupid.
It was very
bad.
stupid.
We never see her again.
Yeah.
I should call her.
But you know who we are going to see again? The Discovery
Star Trek.
crew.
Yes, we will see them again next week in
Star.
Despile Yourself.
Despite
Yourself. There's no, you didn't cross the T, so it says Despile Yourself.
But you did dot the I's, so we will give you credit for it.
You did. I'll give you credit for half points. Yeah. So we will see more Discovery next week in Despile Yourself.
I did cross the T.
Oh, wow. Jake, maybe you need to get your eyes checked, bro.
Oh yeah, it's the tiniest crossing.
Oh,
I
wow.
thought it was part of the E.
Wow.
It is part of the E.
Oh, you did the old cursive. E.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wow,
next
this
week.
is exactly what's wrong with millennials today.
Yeah. It's a very subtle cross.
Okay, it is, and it's a little further down the T than I would have expected it to be. That said, it is there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it goes
All
into
right.
the E.
I concede. The
Also,
episode
my-
is called Despite Yourself.
My handwriting is so bad I can't judge anybody's
All right, well-
anything, to be
well-
honest with you.
Despite the misspelling on the card, we are watching
Oh.
Despile Yourself next week for A Star to Steer Her By, which you can find on the internet. SoundCloud,
Hell yeah, brother.
Star to Steer Her By podcast.
Oh, good. These are back.
SSHB podcast,
.com.
Tumblr.com, and Facebook. Find us in all those places and more every week, Thursday, noon sharp. Actually, I don't know when we come out, but Thursday
Morning.
morning,
Early morning.
midnight sharp. You will find us on your favorite podcast, which is us. My name has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This is always Caitlin.
Podcast.
Great. Good enough.
I can't stop eating the candy. Are you?
White cat never fucking change ever.
He's
Actually.
adorable, but his timing is terrible. Like, if we weren't recording, I could watch him chew that for hours.